It is now time for our news analysis segment, and joining me in the studios is Mr. Mark Simuwe. Good evening.
Thank you so very much, Lisel. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where have you been? You've been missing in action.
Well, you know, when you are talking about issues of arrests that have been skyrocketing across the country in relation to what one may be called the trumped-up charge, which obviously lacks merit at face value or prima facie. That is what happens. And obviously, I should mention that as I get into the main analysis, I think it would be imperative to mention that things to catch people off guard without obviously giving a brief before getting to the nitty-gritties of the main news wouldn't obviously be of justice. So I have to mention that, as you may be aware, on Thursday, I was actually arrested by a battalion of officers and civilians who came with guns, terrorizing my family home, and eventually got to hands with police. Started with the University of Zambia, got to mass communication department, they didn't find me. They went to, later on found themselves at the Unza security before they could get to hands with police. Because as you may be aware that the University of Zambia there has a system when you are to get someone from within. What was a bit amazing is the fact that, upon getting at hands with police, the officer in charge, Mr. Mundia, who is your brother there, a Lozi man, called that there were officers from Nakonde that had come looking for me in connection with the vehicle. And I had to obviously stop what I was doing to get to attend to that particular issue. But I must also mention that also issues of arrest have information relating to me being arrested has not started now. It is something that started way back, and as you may be aware, a number of senior police officers have been my students before, and I would not struggle to get that type of information. So I must hasten to get to the bottom of the whole issue that obviously culminated into this arrest by mentioning that, as far as the police were concerned, the time they arrived at hands with police, it had everything to do with a smuggled car, okay? You may need to know, and the viewers, that, in 2013-2014, upon purchasing a used Japanese vehicle, BMW 218i, 3 Series, and, when it docked at Dar es Salaam, to get there, because of limitations in terms of days, I had to go there by air, and records are there with the immigration office. Now, looking at the case and the nature it came through with smuggling. Smuggling is basically, exiting or bringing in, items or services without declaring them. That's what it means. And I need to make it very clear from the outset that actually records with immigration officers indicate I used the Lusaka International Airport, which is today called the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, aboard FastJet Airlines, Airbus A319. And now what someone is obviously assuming also includes that I must have connived with National Airports Corporation, Immigration Office, and including the airline, and they also connived with immigration officers at Julius Nyerere International Airport, also many other officers for me to get into that particular country, and later on picked a vehicle, which somebody feels that entered this country illegally. Unfortunately, if you went to Road Transport and Safety Agency, they will not give you such records that the vehicle is in the country. And even the officers that came picked me instead of picking the vehicle. And this is what happens in a country where there is a breakdown in the rule of law, and that should be made very clear from the outset. I must mention that after being dragged like a criminal, we arrived in Konde around 04, and straight away threw me into the cells where I found 75 inmates with one toilet. The place is appalling. There is no running water. Water has to be drawn. A place full of lice and dirty, smelling, and they were stinky, even smelling, because sometimes the smell can be good. It's not a good place at all. And also, Home Affairs Minister should take time to visit that place. I can testify to the nation that inmates are not looking healthy there. They look pale, a number of them malnourished. That is the nature of the place where I was thrown into. And I made very good relations with a number of them. And I must mention that, to summarize, I was later on charged the second day after the arrest. I expected the charge upon arriving there. But to my amazement, I had to obviously seek this charge. That, look, I have been kept here, I have been brought here, I have not been given a charge. Luckily, the officer in charge, who was relatively new there also, engaged me in some form of interrogation, which obviously I was not willing to give him. That, look, I organized that a lawyer has to come, and I will not be ready to obviously give a testimony. But obviously, he's quite professional. He conferred with me very well, and he asked me a question which raised quite a number of questions. Why do you think you have been brought here? I said, wow, apart from what has been availed to me by the officers, you know, I don't know.
I know this is
Let me quickly wind up. Obviously, people are obviously itching to get that before I briefly run through the story. So in a way, it showed to me that somebody was not sure of why they took me there in the first place. The charge was later given on Saturday, together with the warn and the caution, plus me having been bonded, released on bond in a way. So that is how the matter came out. And the investigations, I must testify, they are still there. And what is imperative to mention is that ZRA is not a complainant, because initially, when the vehicle went missing at Tunduma, the complaint went through ZRA headquarters, Lusaka, who directed me to go to Lusaka Central Police. Later on, the officer by the name of Piri started handling the matter. And when they were picking me, the officer in charge, Mundia, even challenged them. Officers, my fellow officers, before you carry this man, may I make it clear to you that we are actually handling the matter to do with the theft of the vehicle. Now, a complainant has become, a suspect. So in other words, there's a question, how do you arrest a suspect? Which has to be answered as we go along. But I'm showing you the levels of lawlessness in the country. And some police command in Lusaka made it very clear to certain media houses that they were not aware of my arrest. So all those are sources of concern where the rule of law is concerned. Let me quickly get to the next issue as I sum up the analysis. FRA sets maize floor price, a very critical issue that requires analysis there. I must mention that, as you may be aware, quite a number of things have been done late. When it comes to agro inputs, they are usually made late. It goes to e-voucher, it's made late. The output usually is very late. The price issues of setting the floor price is done late. Including payment is done late. So everything is late about FRA. That is the reason why there is need to restructure an institution to create efficiency. And I must also mention that in a liberalized economy, market prices dictate the prices. FRA pays people late. Therefore, FRA is usually a bad buyer. And I must mention, by summarizing on this particular issue, that price controls usually occur in a socialist state. Because FRA is equally a bad buyer. So there is a lot that we need to do to restructure this institution. And lastly, issues bordering on the Catholic bishops and reconciliation should be looked at from the point of view of justice. So the question is justice a matter of reconciliation or sympathy? We need to begin focusing on justice in this country. And why we look at reconciliation? Because we may be missing a point. If we rush for reconciliation, we may be missing a point because many people will not get, many people will not get justice. The justice system is corroded and eroded. And it's very important that we begin a cleansing system so that obviously we up the game in the justice system. This is what I had for tonight's main news analysis segment. Listen.
Thank you so much.